Okay, thanks for bearing with me just for a minute here. I am Sue Murphy. I work at Keystone Hospice. I'm one of the lead nurses here. And so it's one of my privileges to be able to have the opportunity to bring more people into the company. And I love hospice. It is my passion. And so let me see if I can make this work right. Okay. So how do I get rid of all the extra stuff? Does someone know really quick how to tell me that?
Yes, you should be able to click present up at the right hand corner.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
There we go. So like I said, I work for Keystone Hospice. I have worked here for 3 going on 4 years. I've worked for other hospice companies, and I am going to retire here. While it looks like I should retire anytime now, I told Lenny, the owner, that I'm on the 20-year plan. I'll be here till I'm 80. And so I'll just go from working here to being one of their patients. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So a little bit about me. I am a, whoops, oh no. Okay. Sorry, folks. I am a mother of 11. I have 13 children. I've only been a nurse for 10 years, and 8 of those years I have been a hospice nurse. I was one of those people who said, I'll never be able to do hospice because I cry. But I have found that is really something very important. Our families like to see that the nurses are human and that we have emotions. And this, being a hospice nurse, is all about relationships. And I love that aspect of the whole thing. So let's see. Our mission statement is changing the perception of hospice and taking care of people at end of life with an exceptional team who cares. We really emphasize the team. We have chaplains and social workers, CNAs and nurses. We have nurses, we have RNs as well as LPNs that are on our teams. We also have complementary therapies such as massage and pet therapy. Everybody has volunteers. We have a great volunteer program. COVID's kind of put a damper on that, but we really love our volunteers. And we really want to be the people who change lives every minute until their very last breath. We want them to be able to go out and do things. We do last wishes. We try to reconnect families. We really do want them to have a wonderful experience towards the end of their life. These are our core values. These core values are pretty important to us. When we interview people, we talk about these, and we're looking for these core values in each one of our employees. We ask them about how they were creative in their job, demonstrate balance. It's really important to us that our employees have a balance of work and their outside life. And so we talk about, what do you do for self-care? What do you do for, what do you do just to go out and have fun and kind of get away from your work life? Because hospice can be very tender on your heart, and we need to be able to recuperate that and also be able to enjoy our families. We don't want this to take up all of your time. Our administrator, Brandon, often comes around and asks us if we can name the 7 core values. And if you do, you get a So Delicious little gift card. So it's always beneficial to learn those core values. But we try to do this all the time. One of them is go above and beyond. And like I said, we do grant wishes for our patients. We'll see a little bit of a video later on in the presentation about one, but we had a patient, a young woman who was wanted to go home to pass away, but she was on a ventilator. And so we were able to get her home on with the ventilator, get her home, get her settled, get her family there. And then when we turned off that ventilator, because she knew that she would pass without that, she was ready to go because she was in her home with her family surrounded her and not in the hospital. Not that there's anything wrong with hospitals, we certainly all serve our purpose, but it was very important for her to be home for that. So going above and beyond, a couple of our community liaisons built a hugging wall that we've taken to assisted living so that families could go and hug their loved one outside the building with this virus that's going around and stuff. So we've been able to kind of be creative, go above and beyond, do these things that kind of make an impact and make an impact on the family's lives and on the patient's life, and just let them embrace every breath that they have left to go. Let me tell you a little bit about who we are. There's 5 different entities of Keystone. We have Keystone House Calls, and we have Keystone Hospice. We have a wound care nurse that goes into homes. We have Keystone Care, which is a personal care service. We've done staffing in facilities that have been short because of COVID. We provide in-home care, that it's not home health, but it's the caregivers that can go into their home. We also have outpatient physical therapy that we can, people can go into their homes and take care of that. Keystone House Call was opened in 2013 by Lenny Jensen. He'd had a career before that over in Oregon and came over here and started House Calls in 2013. And then Keystone Hospice was opened in April of 2016. Lenny is local. He lives out here in Eagle. He and his wife and his brother-in-law and his wife own the company, so we're locally owned. And they plan on being locally owned forever. So, and that's really, that's wonderful. Lenny was an Army Corps nurse for many years, and so we are veteran owned, and we have a veterans program. We have a veterans coordinator that works full time. We are able to go out and honor our veterans with a plaque and a pin and some remarks. But we also have Travis, who's our veterans coordinator. He goes out and has those conversations with those vets that they aren't able really to have. They tell me that a vet-to-vet conversation is much different than a veteran talking to his family. Many times our veteran coordinators have gotten a story or heard things from a patient's family that the family had no idea that ever happened. And these people are late in life. And so it's an amazing program, and they are dedicated. And we also honor our veterans at end of life with a flag. Travis comes out, or Zach come out in their Marine uniform, which they still fit, and taps are played and they salute the casket with a flag over it. So it's pretty important. Our owners work in the trenches. Lenny is one of the nurse practitioners over in House Calls. And so we have that ability. He had the opportunity to do a caseload in hospice, and we are getting a new charting system because he realized how hard it was to chart. So it's great to have them available and just working right alongside of us. These are kind of the different things that they do. Outpatient therapy is not home health. But they do go out and help with sports injuries, those kind of things, hip replacement, knee replacements. But they're not home health. Keystone House Calls goes into many facilities, and we at times I get to see my counterpoint at the facilities where I work in. It's always good to see them and see their patients, and so that's a really great thing. And then our wound care, she goes out and can do anything that a wound care clinic can do. So it makes it easier for some of those patients that aren't able to travel to the clinic, or it's difficult for them to travel to the clinic. So we're grateful for that nurse. Keystone Hospice, we have a pretty high ratio of nurse to patient. we have what we call a nexus, where we have two nurses, two RNs with an LPN for each nurse might have 15 patients, but they also have an LPN to help them with those visits. So it really makes a difference. So we make 4 to 5 visits a day, and case managing is a big load of what our work is. And so managing that, getting the medications, communicating with the facilities, those kind of things. Those LPNs are a valuable point. We have some people that their LPNs are just as close with them as the RN case managers with them. Our complementary therapies, our mini massage therapy, we have used our massage therapist to go in at end of life, and it has really managed that the terminal agitation that we get with that, and just bringing comfort to them. She also includes aromatherapy in that. So we really are about a team approach, making sure that everyone is doing their part to embrace these patients and make sure that they're comfortable throughout the end of life. This is just one of our ratings that we got. So we appreciate people when they let us know that they've done that. This is an example of what our team looks like. We have an RN case manager. Here's our LPN. We have a social worker that is involved. Our chaplain is involved. Like I said, I've worked for other hospice agencies. We probably 90 to 95% of our patients use our chaplain. And I know that's a pretty high thing, but we have amazing chaplains. A couple of them, 3 of them sing and play the guitar. So it's pretty, our little sweet ladies that come on just enjoy these young men coming in and singing to them. We have a hospice aide, and then Michelle Marks is our massage therapist. So it's all about that. We love to grant final wishes. An Air Force veteran was able to go out for one more plane ride. We drove one patient up to Garden Valley so that he could be home one more time, because that's where he lived. A young patient wanted to take his kids out on the boat. That was a big event for their family. So we were able to take them out. And another one that's on here is we were able to bring The Lion King. We had a young patient that was his favorite movie, and the new Lion King 2 came out. And so we were able to talk to Disney, and they actually flew out with someone, even with the handcuff on the box so that he couldn't let the movie go anywhere. But they were able to show him the movie because it wouldn't be out before he passed away. So we just look for all different ways that we can do that.
Hey, Sue, I'm sorry to interrupt you real quick, but we got about 2 minutes of time left for you.
Okay.
If that's okay. So just
no worries. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I just want to just reiterate that we believe that patient is always first, and we appreciate the time that we get to go into these people's homes and take care of them wherever their home is. And this is Mike Briggs. This is his phone number. If you want to know more about Keystone Hospice, we love our job, and we love doing this work, and we definitely have a passion for it. So thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Sue. Kelsey, do you want to do the next introduction?
Yes, most definitely. Next, we will be joined by Kootenai Health, and I believe you should just be able to share your screen from this one.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'll get that up there now.
Thank you, Kelly.
All righty. Can everyone see okay? Oh, did I lose you?
Nope, we're good.
Okay, fantastic. Can you see the screen all right?
Yes.
Fantastic. All right, well, good morning. Hi, everyone. We're just so excited to be here today and chat with you a little bit more about our nurse residency program. Hopefully can answer some of the questions that you've had. We've had a number of BSU students come and join us, and have really enjoyed working with them and getting to partner with them in this capacity and have them join our organization. So I'll go through some kind of core highlights about the residency program and Kootenai Health in general, and then I'm absolutely happy to answer any questions that you have following the presentation. So a little bit about Kootenai Health. I'm not sure how familiar you are. We are located up in Coeur d'Alene, so about 8 hours north of the BSU campus. I actually went to BSU, so I'm very familiar with that drive up. Kootenai Health is a community-owned hospital. We have no intention of partnering with a larger organization and really do enjoy that community feel within the facility. We are currently the largest employer in North Idaho, approximately 3,700 employees. And then we have about 200 employed physicians as well. Kootenai Health has a main campus in Coeur d'Alene, but we have about 55 clinics throughout the area that support the organization as well. We have recently onboarded 2 critical access hospitals down in the Lewiston area. So definitely growing. We are big believers in Magnet and all of the benefits that that gives our employees and our patients. We have been designated 3 times and are always working on our 4th. You'll see that through our nursing units in the unit practice councils, nursing practice council. We strongly encourage all of our employees to get involved in their units. And really that can be anything from daily rounding to being a part of their UPC, chairing one of our different committees. Ultimately, what we want our employees to do is find something that they're passionate about and get involved. So you'll see one of our core pillars is engagement. And we strongly encourage everybody to be engaged and find something that supports their personality, supports their goals, but does allow them to continually grow and partner with their coworkers. We are very big believers in making sure our employees are happy. We have been a Gallup Award winner for a number of years, including 2020. It's our most recent award. And what that is an annual survey for employees to kind of gauge if there are any gaps or needs that they have, where they're feeling really good, making sure that they are developing relationships at work that are beneficial for them, where they can find support, mentorship, they're recognized for their work, that they have the tools to do their jobs, and that there's multiple opportunities for them to grow. So Gallup is how we gauge that. And that is something that we do annually in the 4th quarter of the year. Some other just core benefits of working for Kootenai is we really strive to take good care of our employees. We believe that happy employees lead to happy patients. And that does start, of course, back with our team. So we want to make sure people are paid appropriately for what they're doing. They're incentivized for working more difficult shifts or ones that aren't always ideal for family life. We have opportunities for increases and growth. And realistically, we just want to make sure work is fun for people so they enjoy coming and can support the patients really well there. So a little bit more about our residency program. A couple of years ago, this did look fairly different. We have had the privilege of onboarding an amazing nursing education director within the last year, and she's really changed everything up for us as far as the residency goes. It is a 12-month program. Typically, our cohorts range anywhere between 12 people to 20 or slightly over that. What we really try and do there is cohort our groups to make sure that they have the opportunity to really build strong relationships within the group. So we encourage monthly workshops. We have different social events. They all participate in a Facebook cohort and get to know each other prior to arriving. That relational aspect is incredibly important. As we all know, the first year or so of nursing can be very difficult. So we want to make sure that the support system is really strong for our new employees and that they have that opportunity to really have somebody that they can rely on or reach out to and to say, hey, I experienced this today. Is that something that you've experienced, or what are your thoughts? So that's incredibly important to us. We do a lot of didactic and sim-based training. Within the main campus, we have a simulation center that has 3 different rooms. We have 1 patient room, 1 trauma bay, and then a clinic room. So we can do scenarios in there, do some training so that people can get that semi-hands-on and then go up to the unit and kind of reiterate the skills that they've been working on. We do monthly workshops. So our first 6 weeks within the program, the first 2 are more classroom-based. So getting through different modules, learning and optimizing some of the trainings that we have, like MOAB or learning will be EPIC, currently Meditech. And then taking that out, so the following 6 weeks would be with a preceptor up on the unit. Typically, it's the unit that they've been hired onto. to spend some time kind of getting to know the team, working one-on-one with people who will be on their shifts. And then once a month, this group still gets together to go through different workshops, make sure they're doing their resiliency training, and then we have different opportunities for them. Following completion of the residency, and again, that is a 12-month program, there is a ceremony. So they get an increase, and then the resident title drops off their badge, and they can go out and into their units having had that skill set behind them. They also come out as preceptors, and they have earlier shots at doing our Aspiring Nurse Leader program. So we'll talk a little bit more about that on the next slide. So teams that we hire into, if you see the first kind of group of teams, they're more of our med-surg area. So our nursing resource team is our float pool within the organization. Behavioral health, we have a crisis center. We have chemical dependency, which is one of the only chemical dependency units within the Pacific Northwest. So it's something we're really proud of and definitely draws an amazing group of people to work with those patients. Then we have a youth acute and adult acute. We have general med surgery, medical ortho-neuro, oncology, and what you won't see listed there is our DTU unit. So that's our designated training unit. Really neat. There's a SIM center right up in that unit so students can practice and then take those skill sets right in with the patients. The second group that you see listed on there that's kind of bolded and in green are more of our fellowship pathways. So sometimes we are able to hire directly, day one of residency into one of those areas, ED, critical care, labor and delivery. But what is more often is that most of our residents will go through a fellowship pathway for those, and they're eligible to apply for a fellowship position after 6 months of being employed. So they don't actually have to have completed their year of residency to be eligible. If that is a unit that's hiring, when we're looking at getting the residents their specific units, they can of course apply right in and list one of those areas as their top choice. We just don't guarantee them, as those units are their hiring is based on need. And their training is a little bit longer. So if someone has recently hired a group of residents, they likely won't be turning around and hiring again from the next cohort. The ones listed down below in that lighter blue, we do really recommend about a year of experience in nursing prior to going to any of our clinics or cath lab areas. So pathways and opportunities, we really want to make sure that our employees are satisfied with their positions, they're growing. As people grow in their careers, they change what they want to do, and we really want to make sure that we have pathways available. We strongly desire hiring the right people right out of school, then maintaining them throughout their career. So to be able to do that as people change, we need to really be cognizant of pathways. So the first is the nurse residency, kind of what we've been talking about, but we also have what's called a fellowship position. So that is an area where people can go in and get about a 3-month designated training in a core kind of specialty area like the OR for Periop 101, critical care L&D. So that's available to all employees. We have a nursing excellence program that pays you to kind of go above and beyond, joining those UPCs, helping with recruitment, attending different conferences and things like that. And then an Aspiring Nurse Leader program for people who really would like to look at management in their career. We do that annually with a number of different employees. They are paired up with the current nurse manager and then learn everything from budgeting to scheduling to resiliency training with their teams to be successful when and if they do decide to apply for a management position. So when you're going on, if you are looking at applying to the residency program, we do have a page on our website that has a little bit more information, and it's the one that you'll see in the top right, the nurse residency program page. And then the application is slightly different. So you would go into careers and then search for nurse resident. We do encourage people, if they are interested in the nurse residency program, really to apply 6 to 9 months before graduation to guarantee their slot. And then offers are of course conditional pending an Idaho nursing license and passing the NCLEX. But we do have quite a few people who apply and get a position prior to graduation. So if you have any questions about that, you can always reach out. We're happy to help. But that is currently online, and you're welcome to apply now for our June and July cohorts. So what the hiring process looks like for us, you would apply online. It's at kh.org/careers. We do our interviews over Spark Hire. So there's 2 different interviews. There's a video interview, one that has 6 questions. We also send the reference request at that same time. And then pending the score that you would receive on your first interview, there would be a second interview. Interviews are graded on a very set rubric. So just a little note there to make sure that if you are doing those interview videos with us, you answer the question fully. That is where we typically see people losing points that they could have otherwise had. If you have any questions about that process, Mara and I are absolutely happy to answer that for you at any point. And then the second video interview. Following that, we gather all the videos, we send them out to our nurse managers, we send them out to our education team, and then of course the recruitment team reviews those, and we make offers from there. So we'll take a moment and just watch a little video about Kootenai Health so you can get a good kind of view of the organization and some of the employees, things that we value, and then we'll talk a little bit more about questions.
The Big Blue Hospital has always kind of been a well-known hospital in the area. Everybody knew it as the Big Blue Hospital, and it's just always kind of been part of Coeur d'Alene. It really is at the heart of what Coeur d'Alene is.
I, right out of school, chose to work here, and it was my #1 place to choose to work for. I'm very proud to work here. I just think Kootenai Health is going places, so it'll be good.
One of the things that we always try to do when we're setting up deals for employees is we say this needs to be the best deal that you'll find in town.
They look at employees as investments, and they want to not only succeed as an organization, but they want to see you succeed because they know your success will lead to their success.
We have a great insurance program. We have our wellness program where you actually, I was like, oh my goodness, you get paid to make healthy choices.
They've done a wonderful job of helping me to support my family, to be close to my family.
Both my kids go to the daycare, and it's great to have them right across the street.
They have a whole department that deals with leadership education, which is awesome.
I've gone back to school, got my master's, and Kootenai helped pay for quite a bit of that.
They really encourage everyone to better themselves.
I mean, you can't really go get a fitness plan or nutrition plan for free anywhere else unless you're an employee at Kootenai Health.
My wife and I have even met with a financial advisor a couple times, and Kootenai paid for that.
They have a financial plan here? So I'm gonna go talk to them. I didn't even know about that. That's sweet.
I've been here for 10 years. I've been given opportunities to grow. I've been given opportunities to learn. People can rely on Kootenai Health. They do care about our well-being.
People get into this job because they care for patients. If we're not providing for our staff, they're unable to do the job that they want to do. When you have happy employees who are well taken care of, they are able to do their job, which is providing that quality patient care.
So that is primarily the information that we have today. We want to take the last minute or so to answer any questions that you have. Mara, who is our program manager for the residency, is also on this call, as is Kirsty Sunderland, one of our other recruiters for the residency. So what questions can we answer for you?
And students can either unmute themselves or we're monitoring the chat as well.
Wonderful, thank you. I know that was a ton of information very quickly, so we wanted to make sure we got you as much as possible within that 15 minutes.
I'm not seeing anything pop in the chat. However, we will have the Q&A session in about 15 minutes as well. So students, start brainstorming those questions, start thinking about what you'd like to ask everyone. And thank you so much, Kelly. Thank you for sharing all the content that you did. We're now going to hand over everything to St. Luke's. Wendy, would you like to go ahead and start sharing?
Thank you. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you, BSU, for having us here, and students for listening to our presentation, and Keystone and Kootenai, certainly lovely to hear you guys as well. So St. Luke's, and we have Liz here with us today. She's our S.T.A.R residency coordinator. Tracy Stark is here. She's a clinical nurse manager at Meridian. Tara Owens is here. She's an assistant clinical nurse manager at Elmore, and I'm the senior campus recruiter for St. Luke's. So we're here just to talk about our hospitals and our residency program. All right. So if you don't know who we are the largest not-for-profit health system in Idaho, and we have over 15,000 employees, and we're growing every day with about 1,800 physicians and advanced practice providers. And we're really dedicated to our mission, which is to improve the health of people in the community that we serve. We're proud and we care about our employees who are dedicated to impacting the lives of those in our community while pursuing a life-changing career at St. Luke's. And our staff is really the reason for our outstanding reputation as both quality employer and superior healthcare. So we're just here to support you on your journey and answer any questions that you have. So I'd like to turn this over to Liz Claybaugh. She is our clinical nurse residency coordinator. Liz?
Hi, welcome everybody. You may notice that we have funny little pictures drawn on our slideshow, and those represent the journey that we see all of our new graduate nurses taking when they come to St. Luke's, and created by one of our fabulous employees as well. But we envision your first year at St. Luke's as a journey that finishes with you summiting the mountaintop. So welcome to that journey. So I coordinate the S.T.A.R Nurse Residency Program. S.T.A.R stands for Supporting Transitions and Relationships, which is really what we do during that first year. The idea is to improve your competency as a nurse and to increase your job satisfaction. Can you go to the next slide for me, Wendy? So it's a year-long program. Every new nurse who comes to St. Luke's is automatically enrolled in that program, anyone who comes with less than 12 months experience. So you apply to the job and then you're enrolled in the residency. We meet monthly for 12 sessions. The sessions last 4 hours. And we provide a wide range of experiences, trainings, information with guest speakers from around our system. We have simulations, case studies. We reflect on your practice, and we grow a community of new nurses for you. Part of that is that you receive continuing education hours throughout the course of the year, ending up with, I believe it's 37 and a half at the end of the program. Next slide, Wendy. So this is a brief look at the content that we provide through the program. Our focus is really on professional development. When you come to St. Luke's, you will be initially assigned a preceptor and learn the clinical skills that you need to have during your orientation on your clinical unit. But the S.T.A.R residency program helps to support those skills and teach you a bunch of the professional development skills that you need related to communication, teamwork, critical thinking, ethics, evidence-based practice. As you can see, the list goes on and on there. But we really do work to build your skills in nursing as you grow throughout that year. And the topics we cover change as your skills and abilities on your floor change, as you move from being a brand new nurse and you transition into becoming a professional nurse. So our content is designed to support that transition and to help create that new community for you as you spend your first year here with us at St. Luke's.
That is great. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
And I would like to just briefly announce our RN apprenticeship, which we call a SNAP program. So the SNAP program is going to be posted in the next couple of weeks. This is really designed for nurses that are completing their junior year in a 4-year accredited BSN program. We just need a letter from the Idaho State Board of Nursing verifying qualifications to function as a nurse apprentice, and you will start your career path in the CSU, which is our float pool. So you'll work some hours during the summer, and then once you graduate with your nursing program, you will continue for another year in the float pool. So look for this opportunity coming up very soon. Just a slide about our clinical leadership Clinical leadership is very proud to have all of you as part of their family as well. We love to hire new grads. They love to see new grads on the floor. They love for you to ask questions. We kind of ask them what they look for in a new grad, and they look for a nurse to be like fully engaged and willing to learn. And I know that all you guys are always willing to learn. Positivity is key. And really what they said, the icing on the cake is when a new grad is invested in a professional organization such as ANA, or perhaps another organization that supports your specialty, because this shows that you're really invested in knowing the standards of care in that specialty. They want you to take time to understand what St. Luke's means in the community. Some of the tricks and tips that they have is to come to your clinicals energetic, ready to learn, and ask those questions. Build your relationships with the staff and your preceptor. And they just really want you to know it's a privilege to hire you into the organization, and it's your future here, and just don't rush that journey. Just a brief about talent acquisition. So we are so lucky that we can hire new grads any time of the year. Our postings, we want the website to work for you. So what you would do is go to our career site, and there is a profile where you can sign up for nurse alerts. So whenever we post a new grad opportunity, you'll get an email. So then you can just make the website work for you and get those email alerts. You can look at the alert for the job that we posted and decide if you want to apply for that or not. When you apply online, just a few tips and tricks, make sure to include your resume and include the number of clinical hours, the unit and location. And also be thoughtful because there's pre-screening questions. And some of those may look the same for some of our new grad positions. So just make sure and be very intent with your response and respond to all of them. A cover letter is not required, but since our system only allows us to upload one document, that would be your cover letter and your resume. So that follows you to whatever position you're applying to. So if you're applying to the emergency room and your cover letter says, I really want to work in labor and delivery, that's going to follow you to every job you apply to. So make sure that it's kind of general and just toot your horn about yourself in that cover letter. And then references are not required here at St. Luke's. So a little bit about our St. Luke's health system. Okay.
Talking to the mute button. So sorry, it has to happen at once a meeting. So St. Luke's is one of the largest employers in the state. And we have 8 medical centers, 300 plus clinics and centers, and thousands of fabulous employees. So just some of the information you can see there about the amount of services that we provide to our communities, with almost 8 million clinic visits a year, 900,000 plus hospital outpatient visits, over 200,000 emergency department visits. We serve a very large number of people in our community, and we are thrilled to be able to care for them. Is this still me, or are we switching to Tracy?
Sure. Oh. Tracy, take it away.
Okay, well, here you'll see some of our locations in McCall, Boise, Elmore. And then we have some hospitals in Magic Valley, Jerome, Wood River, and Meridian, Nampa, Eagle, and Fruitland. Here you'll see some of our accolades. St. Luke's has received awards for, these include excellence in clinical care, patient outcomes, and staff and physician satisfaction. I have to really toot our horn for our magnet recognition. St. Luke's in Boise, Meridian, and our ambulatory care had received their 5th magnet designation, which is in the top 3% of hospitals who have magnet designation. So, and what magnet means, it's a commitment to excellence in healthcare, and education's development through every career stage for the nurses. And we really encourage certification in a specialty area, like if you want to get your med-surg certification. But each of those different areas you can, St. Luke's really encourages and supports getting certified. Here are more about those locations.
Sorry, Tracy.
Oh, no, that's okay. And then McCall and Wood River, you know, these are out in areas where people may be more fond of recreational time and they're off work. Just really beautiful locations. And then we have our more rural areas in Elmore, Fruitland, and Jerome. So I just wanted to say a little bit about my unit. I am the manager of the med-surg unit in Meridian. And some of what we do here are we have, our focus is on surgeries, but we do get some medical overflow. The specific surgeries we do are your total joints, which are your hip and knee replacements, some shoulder surgeries. We do general surgeries, which include, you know, bowel surgeries, gallbladders, spine surgeries, urology surgeries, and some reconstructive plastic surgeries. You do get quite a variety on our unit, and I really stress to get your foundation in nursing, and then that will, once you get really established in some of those skills, then you can branch off into some of those more specialty areas that you're maybe interested in. But we have quite a few staff here who have been here for 5 or more years, which is pretty unusual for a med-surg unit. But everybody here loves working, and we have a great culture on both our day shift and our night shift.
That's amazing. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
Tara.
All right, I'm here. I'm hoping, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. And you should be able to see me now too, hopefully, right? No?
Not yet.
I have the video on, but I don't know if it's going to work. So I'm the assistant, one of the assistant nurse managers here in Mountain Home for the St. Luke's Elmore Hospital. Just want to share a little bit about St. Luke's Elmore. It is among one of the largest call hospitals in Idaho. We have a 10-bed emergency department, 16-bed patient care services, which entails med-surg. It's also part of a rehab and swing unit. We have, right now it's 16 beds, but with COVID, we're down to 8 to 10 because we're not cohorting in the rooms with more than one patient in each room. We have a 6-bed labor and delivery, which includes 2 triage beds, 2 laboring beds, and 2 postpartum beds. The unique thing about us also is that with med-surg, with us being small, a lot of our med-surg nurses, we have them cross-train to postpartum so that they're also doing a little bit of mother-baby as well. We also have a 3-bed OR. And then the other thing that is unique about us is that we have a long-term care unit attached to our hospital. It has 16 beds. And so we have that option as well. We service a diverse community. And with that comes, we have an urgent care, an outpatient clinic. We also have a specialty clinic where doctors from Boise come up from from neurology and the pain clinic and things like that to see their patients up here. the benefits of being at a small hospital, smaller hospital like us, a Caw hospital, is that it gives you an opportunity to create a closer connection to leadership and the other ancillary departments. You're not just a number. We pretty much know everybody by name. As you're walking down the hall, you're like, "Hey, John, how's it going? How's your kids doing?" Which is really kind of nice. It makes it more of a family unit. We have many employees, not just nurses, that travel anywhere from Ontario here or from Twin Falls just to work here because they love that feeling. St. Luke's, the great thing about being a small hospital connected to St. Luke's and part of the St. Luke's health system is that we also have that support of being focused on continuing your education to further help you succeed and pursue your career goals through channels of sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Through tuition reimbursement and through local scholarships. Many of our staff are able to work into that. I would be a great example of that. I started working in the emergency department as a brand new baby nurse 5 years ago. 2 years in the ED, I moved over to mother and baby, labor and delivery. Worked 3 years in labor and delivery and was just promoted to assistant nurse manager. So it's really a unique and a wonderful place to work.
Thank you, Tara. We appreciate that too. I know that we're over time a little bit. So is there, and then I know that there's question and answer time right now. So that is St. Luke's, and we thank you so much.
Thank you, Wendy. Appreciate it. I think now we're going to just jump right into Q&A. So if anybody has questions for anybody, go ahead and feel free to pour them in the chat or unmute yourself and ask them. Yeah, feel free. Go ahead.
What are some qualities that all of you guys look for in your new nurse graduates when you're going to hire them?
Sue, do you want to start us off with that maybe?
Sure. Well, we obviously, we've all been to nursing school and we realize a lot of your education comes in your first job. And so just that being curious and, really having a desire to learn everything there is to know about your patient and about what's going on with them. Also being able to ask for help. We have a lot of people around us that can help with that. So just being curious and being willing to learn and being open to those suggestions, I think is really important.
So for Kootenai Health, I would definitely mirror what Sue has said. We're really looking for people who are team focused and engaged in what they're doing, and whether that's joining a UPC or really just getting involved in any of the committees that we're working on, or learning your specialty and wanting to go to conferences. We just want that passion behind the nurse work to be present.
I would say just right like that. The other thing that we look for is the ability to think outside the box, because sometimes the situations that we come into, we really, it's something that you may have never seen, but you can draw on past experience and think, well, this kind of work, but it doesn't quite fit. So, instead of trying to force a square peg into a round hole, you start to think outside the box a little bit to make it work.
Wonderful, thank you. We do have a question in the chat. Can you discuss the pay scale for a new grad? Oh, Wendy just answered. Wendy, do you want to elaborate on that a little bit? And then Sue and Kelly can chime in.
Absolutely. So we pay $29.84 for a bachelor prepared nurse, $27.13 for ASN, $5.50 per hour for bachelor nurse night differential, and $2.30 for bachelor weekend. Our flow pool does have an extra 10% once you're taking a full patient load and learning the 3 specialties. So that would be at about the 6-month mark. Typically, we have a raise every on your anniversary, and we do nursing compensation raises typically every March and April as we look at, you know, the everybody's wages that go up.
I can take that for Kootenai Health. So our ADNs start out at $33.50 and BSNs start out at $34.50. We do a percentage for our differentials. So we do 12% for nights and 8% for weekends. If you were working a weekend night, you would get both differentials to apply. We do annual increases in the last quarter of the year. So those go on the last paycheck for December or the 1st in January. So as long as employees are in good standing, they would be eligible for that increase. And then once completing the residency, everybody gets $1 an hour increase at their 12-month residency mark. And then because they're preceptors, if they do utilize that after completion of the residency, they would get preceptor pay with that as well. If you have any other questions, feel free to jabber them in.
So I'll go ahead and take that for Sue, the question on that for hospice, for Keystone Hospice. I'm Brandon, the administrator for Keystone. So we have a range, and it's kind of as you see, there's other ranges for experience. For a new experience, we usually are anywhere from the 27, and we go up to 35. But we also have room for those raises, usually about 3% raise, depending on how you're, you score and that kind of stuff with our team. So that's the range that we have right now. But as far as new nurses, it's usually in that 27 up to 30. Is what we look at, but we look at the experience that you have as well. So
wonderful. We've got another question in the chat. Do new grad programs apply to RN to BSN graduates or only BSN graduates?
So for Kootenai Health, we hire both ADN and BSN into our nursing residency.
At St. Luke's, the residency program is for any RN with less than 12 months experience. However, some of our magnet hospitals only do hire BSN new grads, but we have other facilities that are not yet magnet designated that can hire the ASN nurses.
One thing I forgot to mention for Kootenai Health, thank you for reminding me, St. Luke's, is to be a resident, you would have to be actively enrolled in a BSN program, and you would have 2 years to complete that upon hire. We do have tuition reimbursement to help pay for that though, and that would be available after 90 days. We pay, I think it's approximately $3,400 annually for that.
And for Keystone Hospice, we hire both BSNs and ADNs. I am an ADN, but my other lead nurse is a BSN. We come from a very wide variety of backgrounds into hospice. So it just depends on what you're looking for.
Okay, I'm loving this. I'm seeing a lot of people putting stuff in the chat. That's very exciting. What are some of the characteristics of someone who would succeed as a new grad nurse at each of your facilities?
I'll go. I think just like I mentioned before, being curious, having a passion for people and their comfort and being interested in them. I think in nursing across the board, you have to care about people and care about their comfort. I think that makes a big difference. And so, and then just being curious as to learn a different field, or, you know, whether it's in the hospital or with hospice or home health, just being curious about what you can do to help the patients in those in that setting.
I agree with that. I'd like to add that just with any nurse, wherever you're at, is learn to be forgiving of yourself. Understand that you are not going to know everything when you come on. but also remembering that even our veteran nurses do not know everything, and that what you are bringing, there will be things that you will be able to teach our veteran nurses as well. That so it's really a give and take, and knowing that as you work together as a team is what makes a unit amazing.
So characteristics that we found that people are very successful, they're flexible, they're excited, really passionate to help one another succeed. And honestly, our cohorts really jive very well together. So we have very different personalities, people coming from all over Alaska, New York, Boise. And so we ultimately are looking for people who are really engaged in what they're doing. They care about the people that they're with. They care about, you know, their education, and really strive to kind of dive in and learn all they can.
I'd like to second that as the residency facilitator in St. Luke's. The nurses who really strive to professionalism as a nurse, who realize that there's more to learn, there's more to know, there's more to think about, and they're continuously curious, and they're continuously using their resources to add to their knowledge base, are really the nurses who succeed and do the best. It's those who care about nursing as a profession and care about their patients and want the best for them, and are willing to work hard to provide that, are the ones who I see who really do the best. Thanks.
Thank you for that. We have another question. For those of us graduating in May of 2021, what timeline do your teams hope to see in regards to our graduation date, the NCLEX date, and the orientation start time?
So I think for Kootenai, we have learned this year just to be as flexible as possible with COVID and NCLEX taking a little bit longer. What we see typically with the graduation date, people can schedule the NCLEX about a month following that and typically have results back 3 to 5 weeks following that. So they're starting their cohorts. If they're not starting on a GN, they're starting their cohorts with their RN about 2 months following their graduation.
Would anyone else like to add on to that?
I think with hospice, we have a brand new nurse that is taking her NCLEX, and she has put in her application before that, and she's been working with me out in the field. And then as soon as that NCLEX is passed, and then she will actually take some of those patients from me. And so, you know, if you've graduated, we do hire on then, and then with the goal that you pass your NCLEX and get you into the field.
Okay. We're just about at 6 p.m. I think we've got time for one more question. And pulling it out of the chat, Haley asks, I know Kootenai discussed higher learning support and tuition. What is offered at other hospitals for continuing education, like a DNP program? Or of course, if Kootenai has anything else to add on to this as this benefit, please do so.
St. Luke's does offer tuition reimbursement and scholarships for people who are returning to school, for master's programs, for DNP programs, for RN to BSN support. There's many options for that. We also have a program where if you're in a master's or doctoral program and you need support for your project, you can access our Nursing and Patient Care Center of Excellence experts and be provided a mentor to help you utilize the St. Luke's resources to succeed in that project. And that has been an incredibly successful program for our nurses who are returning to grad school to have that additional support.
Thank you very much. We're getting to the end of time here, trying to wrap things up. I did want to mention, I put a link in the chat. It's for our website on our Boise State domain. You can access all of our employers there, find their contact information. If you were here last night, I said the same thing. You'll probably hear it again tomorrow, but the employers want to hear from you. They want you guys to do the research on, you know, their company and be interested in what they offer. So please reach out, please do your research. If you guys need anything, feel free to reach out to Kelsey or I or the marketing team. We'd be happy to help. But Kelsey, do you have anything else?
I don't. To our guests today, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks to everyone that came tonight, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. And I appreciate all the recruiters for keeping up the questions and answers in the chat.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.